Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Season 1 playoffs analysis featuring Gizmatron, Huzzington, Andomal. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good here.
Just
That was
crack
a crisp beer open right there.
Oh, that's how you start it.
Before the
What
show.
a way to answer.
Crack into the first question here.
Ooh, okay.
Straight into it.
So, what does everyone think about the four teams here? Any surprises? Any things that you expected to happen? You know, from the start of the season, like placements that didn't happen. Because I didn't have the Dinos going last overall.
Yep. Definitely that was the biggest surprise. I think they.
I think after the jelly trade. I think it was really
Yeah,
after the jelly
too.
trade. I could kind of see that happening. They kind of just gave up, I feel like.
I at least thought that they'd be fifth. Other than that, no surprises. I knew that what the top four was going to be. It was pretty
Yeah, I feel like-
solidified, especially after we lost AO.
I feel like the
Minnesota
top
was
four
in
is
AO.
very solidified. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
also a downhill spiral.
Losing
After that
AO
one.
was rough. All right, Giz, do you have any surprises from this season, placement-wise or player-wise, that kind of defied your expectations, or just kind of
You know,
out
I
of
was
your...
just thinking, like, I thought Michkov would really, like, pull the dinos a little bit more. But I feel like that didn't happen. Clearly.
Yeah, Michkov, I think was expected to be more of a goal scorer, kind of like Smasher. Ended up a lot more of a playmaker style, and without a clear goal scorer with him, kind of faded a little bit more into obscurity than we were expecting, I think.
It is the exact same situation with what I've experienced with the North Stars. Is like you need at least one person who can like reliably move the puck. If you want a player like Michikov or like me to do good, you need someone who can like facilitate that.
You need the goal scorer, the sniper, to the playmaker.
Yep. You need just like one key piece, and everything would fall in and be like just so much better. I mean, you even see that with the Mariners, right? You have PK Nem, kind of the duo there, but like everybody else still supports that. And it's just the being able to trust your teammates to be able to like get it up and like play good positionally is super huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Mariners have also having two goal scorers in CST, I think really helps, because Gizmatron able to make good passes and be a really great power forward two-way, pretty much.
Yeah.
Getting the passes, and you know, if Nem's not up, CST is. If CST is not up, Nem is. So having pretty much two playmakers and two goal scorers, it's just been based on us getting the puck to them and us completing those passes, and we win games.
I think one of the biggest surprise for you guys this season is CST. I think he was kind of a steal, and he's turned out to be like one of the top performers for you guys. Like looks good every single game.
Yeah, he's kind of cracked.
Yeah, I wasn't
Very
sure.
consistent.
When I first joined this league, I wasn't really like there's a few names I knew and a few people I saw hyped up. CST was one of the names I wasn't really sure with. I think I played a couple times in Publix, but I was really new to the game and I wasn't really able to judge skill. So CST was kind of like a wild card in my mind for, is he going to be this crazy goal scorer? Is he going to be this kind of just a body on the ice? But definitely, especially in these more recent games, the chemistry with Nem and PK has really, really increased. And he's been getting some good positioning, good goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
You know,
completely agree.
Speaking of surprises, I was really surprised how us Mariners beat the Nordiques our last two games. That was not something I was expecting.
I was expecting it. I mean, especially without V, their team without V struggles. Acto can get shots on goal, but they struggle with actual the goal scoring. Kind of the same idea of the Dinos and the North Stars. They have one half of the puzzle, but the other half is missing, and so they end up in the situation where they are struggling to get those actual points on the board. One good thing with the Nordiques, though, is they have pretty solid defense. So they were able to keep us away from the scoreboard as well until we got a couple through. But
I think that good transition into our first topic here, right? Talking about the Nordiques versus Kodiaks coming up this weekend.
The big game.
Fighting for the 1 seed.
yeah,
And it is the only seed that can change at this point.
yeah.
Everything else is locked in. Invaders are guaranteed third, because even if they win both their games against the Mariners and the Kodiaks lose both theirs, the Kodiaks have the tiebreaker on that.
So we have pretty much two scenarios here. I have it up on the screen here. On the left, we have if the Nordiques win, the Nordiques get the first seed, they'll be up against the Mariners with the I have the Invaders and Kodiaks names backwards on that first seed. All of you. But yeah, so we'll have Nordiques versus Mariners and Invaders versus Kodiaks if the Nordiques do manage to get that first seed by winning, I believe, at least one of the games and overtiming the other. And if the Kodiaks manage to win a game, then it will be the Kodiaks versus Mariners and the Invaders versus the Nordiques.
I would say this coming game against the Kodiaks and Nordiques, I think the Nordiques are going to be looking to win it more, and that's just because I don't think they want to
Ego.
Oh, wait, sorry. I think they don't want to win it. My bad. I don't think they want to see the Mariners in the first round.
See, I was gonna bring that up, and the elephant in the room is it's better to lose here. 100%.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah,
It's like I feel like you do not want to face the Mariners. Like I think
You would
each of these teams would
much
rather
rather.
fight the Invaders.
Yeah, at this point in the season, with the suspension, of course, and the cutting of Smasher, you're not afraid of the Invaders as much as you would be of the Mariners. They're still a solid team for sure, but not Mariners level, right?
No, I don't even think close to the Mariners level. The Mariners just have more talent. And with Brodeur just going kind of going
MIA.
invisible and the Invaders, yeah, in the last few games, like there's not a lot of like
And
the
we saw how
Invaders are
much
just kind of
that can
hoping,
carry.
right? Well, they
We
can
saw
carry
how
a
much
lot.
a
A
good
really good
goalie can
goaltender.
carry.
And it's
Yeah.
not like Treason's playing bad either. Like
Yeah,
to
no.
Treason's credit, he played really good the last game. But
Treason
yeah,
stepping up
they
when needed.
they need Brodeur if they're gonna try and make a deep playoff run here.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Broder like
And-
the top goalie in the league right now, or is that somebody else?
No, it's Brodeur. Yeah, I think he is still the top goalie
Oh my.
in terms of save percentage. So they're losing probably their best player now. And then second up, I think, is Jelly. But Jelly played an amazing game against North Stars. But he's gonna have to carry a big load in this playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, the Invaders definitely have an uphill battle, especially, I mean, if they don't have Brodeur, they just straight up don't win. There's nothing the rest of the team can do without having pretty much their top 3-4 draft picks at this point, because Smasher's gone, Pasta's gone, Brodeur's so far not showing up the last couple of games. They traded away their Marshan's mom. They dropped McPickle. I don't know if they even have much of their draft picks left other than Shavante.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a lot of people missing from the Invaders that were there this season, and I think that's hurt them a lot. But they're still in the playoffs, which is kind of a testament. A lot of that was thanks to Smashers, their primary goal scorer.
Now, obviously,
Brodeur.
Huzzington would have inside info on this potentially, but does anybody else here think that either the Kodiaks or the Nordiques are going to throw to try and secure that easier playoff run?
I would say we want to beat the Nordiques because last time we played them, we did not have I would say
it's
our top
it's a
three
bit of
guys
a
with
grudge
us,
match
and
at this point.
it's a bit of a
Yeah.
grudge match. We want to win just to prove that we're the better team.
They got
and,
some yappers.
I think it's pride. I think both teams are going to go for it just to say they beat that other top seed team. Essentially, it's proving themselves before the playoffs to kind of put themselves in that mindset of
Be deserving
winning,
of that one.
and also kind of to demoralize the other team. Like, hey, we beat you already in the regular season.
See
You
in
don't have
finals,
a
buddy.
chance
Yeah.
in the playoffs here. So I think it's going to be probably one of the most aggressive matches on each side, of just each one not wanting to lose to the other potential top seed.
It'll be very interesting to see if the Kodiaks can come out in full force for that one. So we were kind of robbed last time they faced off. They were missing a lot of firepower.
It's
It's a
certainly
lot of firepower. Not a very fun game to be a part of.
It's certainly going to be a fun game to watch, though. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to be making sure I'm free to stream that one, because I do not want to miss that. It's a really fun game to watch.
Yeah. And I'm hoping the Nordiques are also at full strength, because I think when both of our teams are at full strength, it's just like really fun hockey. And we haven't been able to play at full strength yet, so and hopefully Octo can fix his mouse troubles as well. His mouse injury.
His mouse injury. Do we have like an active roster of each team anywhere, like on the?
I was about to
the
say, yeah.
server?
What does
Acto
full
has-
power lineup Nordiques look like? That transitions right into our next topic.
I mean, I think it's Acto V, and then on defense, I mean, it's tough if you put Jonesy in or not, but Bullfrogs, Puck, Chuck, and Jonesy are the other three. You pick any two of those, honestly, and I think you're in a pretty good spot. Obviously, Collie and Net here. Collie's definitely shown to be the better of the two.
I mean, 0% save percentage that one game. The one shot, one goal game.
That's true.
But I think Octo is a defender, and I think their two front people would be Jonesy and V at that point. Octo likes to play back a lot, and you could either put PLC in there.
Is Octo a defender?
I think he says he's a defender.
I call him the third
because he stands still on defense.
I call him the third defenseman. He's technically a defender, but I'm not saying he doesn't necessarily play decent defense or decent enough. But his main role is to get those shots on goal, to be that kind of that menace, just peppering the net and getting the opportunities and kind of catching goalies off guard. So I think his main role isn't a defensive role, even if he is playing a defensive position.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm in the same boat. I play lefty, but that's just because I like the spawn point. That is the only reason.
Colleague,
What's so special about that spawn point?
It's just I can get back easy, or I can cheat up and get speed quickly off the draw if it comes like to the left. I just like being able to react. If I play a wing spot, then I can't really get back if they win the face off and just like deke through.
Yeah, I think Quebec, the Nordiques definitely have a solid team, but Grizz, Echo, Our, Lurker, Huzz, Canty, Ovechkin, that is a crazy lineup. I don't even know what the best lineup is there. It's honestly whatever they want it to be. So it'll be interesting to see if the Chicago does play at full strength, what actually they choose for the lineup. If it is Grizz, Echo, Our, Lurker, and Huzzington is a bench. Ovechkin is probably a bench here. Great player, but just not quite at that same level as Grizz, Echo, Our, and Lurker, and even Huzzington. And I believe it's I want to say it's been Beard in it. I don't quite remember. Beard or Doots, whoever they've had being their main goalie, has been kind of a unsung hero, as making a lot of saves and a lot of breakaway saves even for Chicago. That I have my money on Chicago, because just how their team has come together, and the goaltending has really shored up from the start of the season.
Absolutely. If you don't think the Kodiaks are winning the playoffs, you haven't been paying attention to the literature.
Oh, I don't know about the playoffs. That's free for the Mariners. But this next game and their series, if it's not against the Mariners, they're definitely a scary team.
But that is the main worry with the Kodiaks, of course, is they don't have the overwhelming presence in net, which we've seen can carry a game. With that very first, I think it was the very first game of the season, Invaders versus Kodiaks, where they had an infinite amount of shots and Brodeur shut down almost all of them. Yeah,
Brodeur and good goaltending can straight up change the series.
And that was against a full lineup Kodiak too. That was a strong Kodiaks roster. I think they had our Grizz. I don't know if they had Echo in. I forget exactly the rosters, but
yeah, Houston's not to be counted out. If Brodeur does play in the playoffs, they are not a team to be counted out by any means. Brodeur can quite literally win them games, and I mean, Jelly and RTYR have shown they have some chemistry in that last game against the North Stars, and Josh has really looked pretty decent there on defense. So they are not a team to be counted out by any means.
Yeah, and Brodeur with a 90% save percentage. I think leading the league in terms of like the volume of shots. So 151 shots against, only allowing 15 to go in. But that being said, at least with I will speak on our depth a little bit. If Beard is having an off game or any of our goaltenders, we can always put Lurker in. Lurker, who had 14 saves in the 2 games against the Mariners. He really helped out, stepped up, made a lot of big plays. He's a pretty decent goalie as well. So we do have a lot of depth if stuff is not going our way, and I think that's like one of our main things. Like we haven't had our captain the entire season. He's only played 4 games. And we just got Grizz back, and but yeah, I think we are the deepest team. That being said, playing a team like the Mariners, who are also, I would say, decently deep, led by PK and them, and you always gotta worry about V, because V's just great. V's really good. So he's always scary, no matter what. When he's on the ice, he's scary, and you could always win if you have V on the ice.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for the Mariners is how much Jackers is going to be able to step up in net here, because Rugg has officially left the server and left the league due to personal reasons. So they are without their starter goalie. So Jackers had a really good game, a double shutout nonetheless.
Jackers does have a better save percent than Rugg.
He does. That is a true statement, but he also has a lot less starts.
Rugg's 78, and then Jackers is 86. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, Jackers has only started now 4 games, whereas Rugg played, I believe, 10 to 12. So it is a little bit of a different sample size, but Jackers is no slouch in net either. I mean, the double shutout kind of helps cement that case, as it's not like we're without a good goalie, but we will have to see how much Jackers is able to lock down the goaltending here, as he has been mostly the backup for us, the Mariners, up until this point. So I have faith. After the last double shutout, I have a lot of faith in Jackers, especially with the defensive power, having Gizmatron and PK on defense, as well as both CST and NEM, who have shown good cycling and defensive awareness and ability as well, even as forwards. So.
Yeah, 100%. I just think the Mariners are deep, and I think you guys play very well together too. That's one thing. I think you have an identity, which is really going to help. Just having trust in each other. And I think that's something the Invaders kind of need to build up with their new lineup, which, again, if Ritter doesn't play, I don't have a ton of hope for the Invaders.
Yeah, it is looking grim for them.
It's looking a little grim. Did we want to make our bracket predictions?
I think that's a great idea here. I will switch back to that screen. So My predictions here is Kodiaks versus Nordiques. I think the Kodiaks takes it. At least one game is going Kodiaks, even if it's in overtime. Kodiaks are taking the game, and I don't think they're losing two. I think it's gonna go one game win for the Kodiaks and one game overtime, for the Nordiques winning it. Both teams will win a game, but the Nordiques will only win in overtime, is my guess. So it's going to be the right side of the board here, is my prediction. And I think, first series, it's going to be a tough series, but I mean, the Mariners completely shut out V and Acto. Like, they were that second game, they were at full strength. So full strength Nordiques versus full strength Kodiaks. I think we can do it again. We only have to get one goal, because I mean, if the Kodiaks don't get any, that's it. So I think the Mariners will win one game in overtime, just like the Kodiaks Nordiques series, and both will be wins though. One regular time win and one overtime win for the Mariners, and they'll take it. If I have to go between the Invaders and the Nordiques, it's going to be a Nordiques wins both games.
Landslide.
Yeah. I could see the Kodiaks getting a game on the Mariners, like a 1-1, and then a Mariners win the third. But I don't see the Invaders winning. With Brodeur, it's a bit of a question, but I think there's enough that I'm pretty safe calling it a 2-0 win, straight up sweep for the Nordiques. Mariners versus Nordiques, we just shut them out twice. I think it goes a full sweep for the Mariners. So I think Mariners win 2 of 3 games against the Kodiaks and win 2 of 2 games against the Nordiques, and that's mine.
If we still have, Mariners, if we play the last lineup that we played when we played the Nordiques, I think we have a pretty solid chance. But if they switch it up a little bit, it might be a bit tricky, but I think we're pretty solid.
I think Kodiaks are going to win it all. Yep. That's it.
It sounds a bit biased.
No.
I think,
Just a little bit.
I think the toughest
Unbiasedly.
matchup, if we're looking at right side of the bracket, toughest matchup is in the whole playoff is actually just the first match between Kodiaks and Mariners. And then it doesn't matter, I don't think, who wins between the Nordiques and the Invaders. Whoever wins Kodiaks Mariners is going to win it.
I don't
that's
think I
probably
disagree.
Kodiaks. I think as long as Kodiaks can show up with their whole roster, that's the what if of everything here. It's the playoffs. If you can't, that sucks. Get fucked. But
Yeah,
if they show up with their whole roster, I think
Hell yeah.
they have a very solid chance. The only like asterisk here is, can the Kodiaks goalie perform, or does their defense just lock down everybody else on the entire ice?
I do
That's
want to
the
point
only
out a
two
stat.
ways.
I want to point out a stat that Beard has faced 4.6 shots a game.
Yeah,
It
that
is
is,
not a
eight
lot of
starts.
shots.
That's not a lot of testing.
I think that's testament to our defense, dude.
Oh, it's
that
over.
is-
Very deep.
Yeah.
It's over for the Kodiaks. Our almost got grounded today. It's over.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
Our captain did get grounded for playing a puck too long.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's solidified for me now. Mariners are taking
Oh
it.
no, it was actually for not picking up his shower towel on the floor. Is why he
Oh, was
like
that
he
this
did or
time?
he almost did.
I think that was for this time.
That's awesome.
Hey, if my team captain gets grounded, then we're gonna play even harder. Okay? That's just motivation to win. It's like when your coach gets ejected from the game, but his mom's grounding him instead. Same thing.
His mom
That
comes
happens frequently.
Yeah, his mom just goes up and just pulls him by the ear, away from the bench.
Sorry, that'd be actually really funny to hear in comms.
Yeah,
in the middle of the game.
he's screaming
You
as
see
he
his
can't.
mom walk in.
He can't get a goal, starts screaming, gets frustrated. Mom walks in, turns off his computer. The last thing you hear is a scream.
Oh, that would be amazing. Hey, thank you for having me, Liability, but I have to head out.
Understandable.
So
Have a good
luck with the
rest of the day.
stream,
And
guys.
Thanks for joining us,
you're-
Huzzington.
See you later, gamer.
luck.
That's no problem. Have a good one.
There he goes.
Yeah, thanks again for Huzzington for joining us. Had to go to a game, unfortunately, so can't finish out this stream here, but I think we're just about done anyways here. Yeah, I mean, so Andomal, I believe you just said Kodiak's take it, and yeah, so we have Kodiak's, we have I believe Gizmatron. I believe you were leaning Mariners, but you were kind of indecisive, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly, and then I said Mariners are definitely going to take it. So we have all of the gradient of Chicago versus Mariners here, whether it's the first, the left side and the Nordiques win, and it's in the finals, or it's in the first round Mariners versus Kodiaks. Either way, it seems like that's what we've kind of solidified here. It's going to be those two teams, and the winner of that series is the winner of it all.
Yeah, the Kodiaks are solid. I feel like out of everything I've seen and heard, like they're the most consistent in terms of like players and people showing up, and just like the way that they play throughout every game, at least like that I've seen when we played with them, you know, so it's like, yeah, I can definitely see them.
I mean, they are the
being
only
there.
team that has scored 10 goals in one game twice. Mind you, that second time they did it, Bob did jump into a team he wasn't on.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that. That sounded like a cluster.
I was not a happy person. He joined in on the third period for a team he wasn't playing on, and then they got 5 goals against them in that period. It was a 5-0 game before that anyways. Like, the first 2 periods it was 5-0. The game before that was 6-0. But he definitely didn't help, because that made sure the Kodiaks got their 4th player in Ovechkin. And Ovechkin's a better skater than Bob any day of the week. And then that's more ability to passing play and more bodies on the ice for the Kodiaks, just body them even more. So that was not a game people wanted to watch. I think that was my least viewed stream of all time. It got like 6 views, I think. No one wanted to watch it, and I don't blame them. I didn't even want to watch it. It was rough. And I mean, the commissioner letting Bob on the ice and not calling that period a wash and just resetting or something still baffles me to this day. The fact that nothing happened from that.
Yeah, it just sounds all Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't make much of a difference at the end of the day, as far as winning
I think
wise.
something
But
did come from it, at least. I think that was another kind of building block to the idea of the board of directors.
the catalyst, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It was another domino in the long line of dominoes that it took for that to get made.
It sucked stats wise for the Dinos there, as they got an unnecessary -5 that they probably maybe only would have had one or two extra goals against instead. And Bob ruining his stats, I guess. I don't even know how that's going to be collected, but he deserves every negative that he gets from that.
Get fucked, Bob.
Hell yeah.
Fucking bitch.
I mean, you
get for being
join,
French.
you play on a team that you're not on, and you fuck up their game on them. You deserve to get something happen from that, even if it's just your stats getting nuked from you playing bad. That's like the least that could happen when you do something like that. Like in an actual hockey league.
Do that to nuke his stats, though.
No, I mean, he does that enough in net, but still.
Enough, yeah.
Bob's stats are impressive, okay? Have you seen his ranked
pug
MMR?
His pug graph is very funny.
I mean, I think Queso ended his career.
His pug graph is only eclipsed by RTYR's early one, where it was just like going up, down.
All right, I think we'll just to wrap it up here. Is there anything else you guys want to say? Anything you guys want to mention here?
Well, I was thinking award predictions. Do we
Yeah.
even know what the awards are?
So, I do not know if things have been confirmed, so I am just going to say no. There
Alright.
is discussion about it. behind the scenes, but I don't think anything has been confirmed exactly what awards. But I would expect pretty much the usual, you know, MVP, goal scorer, playmaker kind of things. Just kind of your kind of your standard. You're probably a GM award of some sort. This is kind of your basic awards. I don't know if anything special is going to happen. Any kind of unique awards or anything like that. But
I hope we have some silly awards. I feel like that would be kind of fun. But we'll see what they come up with.
Can we make a streamer award so I can get one?
Yeah, there
I don't think I'm getting
Streamer
anything
award.
else, unfortunately.
Broadcaster.
Best caster, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of sick.
There would be 4
Best shit
nominees
talker.
for it.
Yeah. As far as
Who's
awards,
everyone that casts? It's you, Bob.
RTYR,
Jackers.
Mitchkov did one.
Jackers.
Jackers.
Oh yeah,
Mitchkov.
Mitchkov did one. He only did one though. I feel like you needed to do at least like a couple to be eligible. I think
Yeah,
his was really good though, if I remember right.
Yeah, he
It
had
was a
some
while
good
ago.
commentary. I think he's
Yeah.
also streamed a couple of his own point of view. So
Okay,
if you include the point of view gameplay, then I think he technically counts.
cool.
Hell yeah.
I didn't know that. That's deep.
What else we got here?
Mems-
Entry draft, expansion draft.
Oh yeah, the
Anything-
expansion draft. So I believe it has been confirmed that there's 3 protects. So it's going to be very interesting. Who gets protected? My theory is if any team is going to purposely not protect one of their better players to make sure they get under that star cap, so they can draft a better player, because drafted players I think aren't really going to be star capped as their known potential. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to be done because they haven't played official games. So I wonder if there's going to be like a set star cap for draftees. So if teams don't save all their best players, if they're expecting like they have a lot of good draft picks to get better players in the draft, it might make more sense to keep your lower star players so you don't get over that cap space and draft the better players. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of abnormal picks and abnormal protects like that.
I would assume the draft one is probably going to work kind of like because the star cap is basically just a reworked salary cap, but
Yeah.
we don't have money yet in the NAPL. Pay me, Jackers. So it's probably going to be like the earlier picks are going to be higher star cap rated, and then probably the next season after you could rework it on a per player basis. But I think that would probably be the easiest way to go about doing that, and just kind of estimate or like emulate like the draft player salaries that they have to like do, like the mins. I know they do that in basketball. I don't know about any other sport, but
kind of an expected star cost, and then if they underperform, they underperform. If they overperform, they overperform. But have some sort of a assumption of skill based on kind of where they're picked, kind of thing.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
with
I'm
it,
excited for the draft. I can't wait. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
everybody we get. It's gonna be so fun. Watch all the combines, see what everyone's doing. It's
yeah,
great.
there is a lot of killers that I've seen join the Discord, even in the past few days.
Yeah,
that I just recognize the name of, either from pubs or from Penis Hot Dog League. Just kind of watching stuff.
My favorite
there.
league.
It's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah,
depending on who all that joined it actually signs up and wants to play.
Yeah, this draft and this expansion draft are going to be a very, very interesting thing, because
It's gonna be insane.
teams are going to get
depending on
blown
how many
up,
People sign.
and then teams are also going to go from nothing to what pretty much everything. The entire dynamic of this league is going to change pretty much.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
so
even,
many crazy good
like,
talent is joining.
Literally, when you think of the Kodiaks, their lineup, right? You think Grizz, Echo, Hour, Lurker, Huzz, Canty, probably. Those are the people that have started the most. Beard, even. After that, it's like you have 3 protections out of all of those players.
Yeah,
How do you protect that and still have the Kodiaks
and
right?
stay under the cap too, because even if you
That too,
protect,
yeah.
if you
They
protect
might
all 5
have to
stars, that's
release
15
someone.
out of like 20 something you're gonna have. That's most of
Yeah.
your cap space in just your saves. You can't draft much after that. even if you have draft picks, you're gonna have to trade those, like trade them away or trade the players away, because you're just not gonna have the cap space if you do pick all of your best players necessarily. That's why I was saying it might not be the best pick to actually pick and save all your best players. It may actually make more sense for some teams to save kind of their underrated players and go for that, because if they think a player is underrated, and they can perform better than their star cap, it might be better to pick them because it'll be more efficient, and they can pick up players in the draft that will have a higher cost, but might be underrated, or even if they meet their expectations, just so they can stay within that star cap. It's going to be pretty aggressive, the cap.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see kind of the shakeup to the, not even just the current rosters, but also what that does to all the expansion teams.
Yeah, the expansion teams are going to be very interesting, because
like, there's going to be some really weird happenings with that.
Yeah, and seeing all the teams having to build up completely new chemistry, is half the team, like half of every team is going to be imploded as they get picked up from the expansion draft. So all of the, like a lot of team chemistry is going to go, and a lot of players who may have been benefiting from having certain teammates, like obviously me benefiting from having PK and Nem helping me and training me going to another team, and other people in similar boats who are kind of new and are getting trained, or just kind of have a really good chemistry with certain players, may not be on that team anymore, and seeing if they can actually kind of keep up that pace and get better, or if they'll get a little bit of a slump, will be a very interesting thing to see.
Yeah, the expansion is going to shake everything up. That's going to be very exciting.
It's also exciting to just see like the amount of interest that people have started to have in this league more and more. Like it's just felt like it's been exponential. And it's really exciting just to know that, like, okay, we got something cool going on here. You know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with just like the distinction between this and Penis Hot Dog, where we are more of an actual, like, I don't know how to, like NHL like, where I think we're trying to have like as many teams as possible in one league, and then StarCap emulates salaries, and kind of do it off of that, as opposed to like the division setup that Penis Hot Dog has.
And anyone who doesn't know, Penis Hot Dog League is PHL.
I have no idea what Penis Hot Dog League is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's PHL.
Oh. Is that what you guys call it? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's become
Right.
a banned phrase, so you
Checkers
use
will
a
get mad at us
acronym
if we
instead.
don't. Yeah.
Oh, okay, copy that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Penis Hot Dog League. Very good.
I was just saying to chat without talking in Discord, for anyone who doesn't know, that's PHL, and then you immediately after you ask, hey, what is it? I'm like, that's funny.
Somebody's gotta ask.
Coley's asking for us to interview someone. If anyone in
Coley,
the
get
chat
in
want to
here.
pop in for an interview, we can hop into the NAPL server, and someone can pop in here.
I will probably bounce before that if that does happen.
All right, I mean,
my friends want to play more rematch, and I'm addicted. So
if you want to pop out, and me and Gizmatron can hop into the stage and have a little bit of interview.
Yes, sir.
That's good with both of you.
all right,
Yes,
sounds good.
sir.
Thanks again to Andomal for joining us and being part of this discussion.
No problem.
Your insight is very valuable, especially as one of the teams that unfortunately wasn't able to make it. You kind of have a little bit less of a bias than me, Giz, and Huzzwell, as we are in the team. Obviously, we're going to pick our teams because we see how well we work together. We see how hard we work versus the other teams. So you have a little bit less of a bias in this race.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, it was fun. It was fun. Good luck with the interviews. I will
Hell yeah,
bow
dude.
out. GG's. Goodbye.
Have fun with your
Adios.
games.
All right, let's invite Gizmatron here.
Whoa.
Oh,
Look at that, I'm
perfect. There
here.
we go. All right,
Hell
so
yeah.
yeah, now we'll be taking some interviews, asking some of the audience their questions. I'm not exactly sure how to pull people in here, but if you do want to answer some questions and give your opinion on how you think the playoffs are going to go and the draft, expansion draft, just let us know here.
Who we got in the audience right now?
We got Bullfrogs.
Price, Fear the Pasta, Stupid Cat Girl, and Bullfrogs.
Fully, if you do want to pop in, we're in the NAPL stage. So if you wanted to pop in, just go to the NAPL Discord server, head to the stage. Em, I see you're in chat. If you wanted to pop in, you're certainly free to. Hour, if you wanted to pop in, give your 2 cents.
Nem, get in here. Use some of that new hip slang you've learned.
Oh, we got Bob joining too. Bob, if you
Ooh,
want
we
to
got
pop in
Bob.
and give your 2 cents.
Bob's gonna start singing Lady Gaga if we're not careful.
Hey, I'm fine with that. We can have a little bit of karaoke.
I know, me too. Yeah, let's just turn it into a karaoke stream. That was a good time the other night. I just look back at the net and Bob's just headbanging his fucking character.
Yeah, we definitely gotta have some Bob karaoke. Honestly, what we need to do is we need to have Bob singing for the opening of each playoff series. Whatever song he feels like, not even national anthems, literally just some random song, whatever Bob chooses. That's what we
Katy
need.
Perry.
Yeah, and then we'll have Jackers singing the national anthems as always.
That's beautiful. That was
Yeah.
a special thing to be there for.
Honestly, we need that recorded, and we need to play that for every stream.
Apparently, Collie's at the beach right now. That's crazy.
I'm a bit jealous, honestly.
Mans is at the beach and he's watching a Roblox hockey game.
Not even. He's watching people talk about a hockey game.
I respect it, honestly. That's a gamer right there. Collie's a certified gamer.
So far, I don't think anyone's volunteered to be talking here.
We could ask people questions like, what's their favorite color? And we'll drag them up.
I'm not going to say anything, but Bob, that is...
What'd Bob do?
Nothing, don't worry about it.
I'm worrying now.
Bob is very, very talented. And I just need to say that. I can't say exactly what's happened, but very, very talented individual. Also, Bob made the rinks. He made 2 rinks for the NAPL resource pack for Puck. So if you go to the Steam Workshop, Stupid Cat Girl made a pack of assets, including two rinks made by Bob for the playoffs, and a dark mode and a light mode. So no matter which mode you like, if you're like dark mode or if you're incorrect, you can use a NAPL official playoffs based arena rink. So as well as Stupid Cat Girl made jerseys home and away for each team. We have a custom pucks in multiple colors. Just a lot of great graphics and stuff made by both Stupid Cat Girl and by Bob. So thanks to both of them for all their work for graphics.
I gotta see this. This is on the workshop?
Yeah, you can see it in game. I believe it's actually currently the highest downloaded and the most popular currently of all packs on Steam Workshop right now.
Oh, I see it. Look at that.
Yeah, no, a great job done by Stupid Cat Girl and Bob.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love how creative everyone is. All right, Kali has a question.
Oh.
Who is leaving their team for expansion teams? Ooh.
Ooh, that is a good theory. That's tough. Do we have updated lineups? 1 second here.
I got the roster doc up. I've just been looking at that. I have no idea. I could not tell you.
I mean, I think I'll start from my list here. Acto's getting saved. He keeps saying he doesn't think he is. Acto's getting saved. He's too valuable to Bob.
Yeah, when I think of the Nordiques, I kind of think of like V
You think Acto's
and Acto.
Acto talking shit and V scoring goals, and then you have Coley saving goals. That's the three things you think of: Coley in net, V scoring goals, Acto missing the net.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a pretty easy three. Coley, V, and Acto. I could see the only thing I could see changing up with that is not picking Coley, not saving Coley, simply because the depth of the goalie draft that is well, at least what it looks like, the crazy amount of goalies, that it might be worth it to save it forward because there's not going to be as many forwards in the draft. So I could see it being Acto v Jonesy and just hoping they don't take Coley because there's enough goalies, or if they do take Coley, there'll be enough goalies you can draft that it won't be too bad.
I think Puck Luck Chuck's kind of cracked. I feel like he's a little bit underrated.
Yeah, I could see them picking Puck Luck Chuck as a defensive force for sure. I think I wanted to lean more Jonesy just because he's had a lot more hype. But honestly, being fair, I'm not. I'm probably underrating Puck Luck Chuck, honestly. Puck Luck Chuck is definitely a fair pick for the third save if Coley doesn't get saved.
I mean, he's played 8 games, and he has 2 first stars, whereas Jonesy's played 10 and only has 1.
That is fair.
So I mean,
Stars are subjective, but
fair enough.
I mean, because it is Acto who chooses the stars, but even being subjective,
Yeah.
I mean, they're both on the same team as Acto, and also, I mean, Puck Luck Chuck is a defensive force. He's not as good as Marchand's mom, I wouldn't say. Marchand's mom is probably the greatest in the league right now for pure defensemen. Just straight up defensive defenseman, not talking two ways, not talking offensive defenseman. Straight up defensive defenseman. Marchand's mom probably wins that. Because I think Puck Luck Chuck is maybe a two-way. Mostly probably a defensive himself. I think he probably slots in second. But yeah, honestly, I think that's probably where it's looking for the Quebec Nordiques. Houston, I mean, it's Brodeur if he wants to stay. It's Jelly, Chavante, Brodeur.
Jelly, Chavante, Brodeur.
I mean, if Brodeur doesn't want to
Yeah.
stay, then you keep Josh. Other than that, they don't have anyone else, so it's not really worth saving anyone else. Houston's the team that they're pretty much saving what they have left. They've lost half their team. They're stuck with, I won't want to say scraps. That's a dishonor to the rest of the players. But they're stuck with what remains of the team, and if they have 3 saves, that's most of what's left. So I don't think they're actually going to lose too much because they don't have too much left to lose.
Yeah, like looking at that and taking away like the players that are very notable. Yeah, it's not much.
Chicago though, Chicago's losing half of their body. Like they're losing half of their team. Just no doubt. I mean, you're keeping Hours the owner, so obviously Hours staying. You're keeping Echo, no doubt. You're keeping Grizz, no doubt. You're keeping Lurker, no doubt. After that, I can't imagine not picking Grizz, Echo, and Lurker. Their goalies, I mean, again, goalies are replaceable. Lurker can play goalie if he needs to, if they really need a goalie. There's a lot of goalies going to be in the draft by the looks of it. I mean, I don't see a position here where they keep their goalies. I don't think any of their goalies are game-changing enough to their team that they're worth keeping over Grizz, Echo, or Lurker.
I forget who said it earlier. It might have been Huz, but one of them made a good point that like their defense is really solid. So it's like how many, shooting opportunities are people getting on like Chicago's goalies, to really let them shine.
Chicago is really like the real world equivalency is they're Colorado. It doesn't matter who they have in net. They have enough offense and defense that it doesn't really matter that much. They're pretty much just the Chicagos. They play fast. They're really talented. They have all deadly shots, and they have great offensive defensemen. And I mean, obviously, so much offense that they have defense pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I see them keeping Grizz, Echo, Lurker. I don't see any other really options. Canty and Huz are gonna suck to lose. Ovechkin will suck to lose, but their three best players, Lurker or definitely Echo. I think Grizz pretty much runs the team at this point, so he's not leaving. And Lurker, I don't see them getting rid of Lurker. He can play pretty much any position. He's a great dynamic player. I don't see them getting rid of him.
We only got one game played from Ovechkin.
Ovechkin he did play 3 games because he played the last 2 games. He played against the Denver Dinos. He played the first game and he popped in on the 3rd period when Bob popped in for the 2nd game.
Okay, I see.
Down to Minnesota. Andomal is a obvious save.
Yeah.
Alcan is an obvious save. After that, Awolprain?
Yeah, I was gonna say Awolprain, man.
I mean, I'm not a biggest Awolprain fan. Just from I think it's more of how he plays when he's on my team. We just don't mesh. But I'm not the biggest fan of Awolprain's play. I'd probably honestly
I played a lot with him, so like just seeing how like playing against him, I'm kind of like okay, like he's solid,
Yeah,
like out of the other ones, I don't really know.
I'd probably choose Curtis here, simply because he's gotten a lot better. I think Curtis is going to be an underrated star cap, and so if Curtis can kind of keep under the radar and keep a pretty low cap while getting better and better and playing. If he starts playing in pugs, especially, getting a lot more experience and a lot more just time playing the game, I think Curtis would be a pretty good save. The main thing is if he's actually going to put in that time, because that's the biggest thing. I mean, I could see it being either one. Awolprain is much more offensive. Curtis is another one of the kind of more two-way or defensive defensemen, whereas Awolprain I think is much more of an offensive defenseman. So the main thing is I see a lot of defensive mistakes from Awolprain, and as a defenseman, I don't know if that's exactly what I'd be looking for. Especially when you have Curtis, who can play much more defense. So you can have Curtis and Andomal. Andomal saying he wants to play left D. Having Curtis, who's a lot more of a defensive defenseman, with Andomal, who's going to be offensive, is a lot better pairing than 2 offensive defensemen who might leave the defensive zone a little bit less protected. Especially for a currently weaker team.
They got a lot of goalies on their roster.
They have a lot of goalies. Them and Chicago technically have even amount of goalies. If you count people who've played goalie, then you can add Huzzington too. But yeah, they have a lot of goalies. Chizo, as their owner, looked a bit better in the last series there, but still no way their starter. He's a good enough backup, but I definitely want Alcan starting as many games right now for them.
I was gonna say, no doubt in my mind, should Oh, I can't be the starter for.
Hey,
for
Poke
Minnesota.
Chekhov, welcome.
Yeah, we got Poke
Howdy.
in here.
I'm late. I was just waiting for a second where I could cut in.
You're
Oh,
here.
sorry, I didn't even notice you pop in.
We're
I would have
gaming.
given you some time. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. I just got home.
Hell yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Who all have we gone over?
So we've gone through
the
everyone pretty much.
Nordiques,
Damn.
the
okay.
Nordiques, Houston, Chicago, Minnesota. We got Denver and the Mariners left. How are we feeling about Denver?
I mean, Mitch Kov, if he wants to stay, is a save. If in the offseason he doesn't want to stay and he's firm about that, you let him go. And that actually gives you an extra save there. They definitely save Poke. They definitely save Marchand's mom. Definitely their two best players after Mitchkov. Marchand's mom, the best defensive defenseman after watching him play, shutting down V, shutting down the Nordiques there really, really well. A great defensive player, especially in front of Poke Chekhov. Poke having a really good defenseman in front of him is going to help a lot for their game. So I think they definitely want to keep Poke and Marchand's mom. Poke Chekhov kind of being the almost the life of the team, and Marchand's mom being a great defender. I don't think they want to lose that, especially with how the current draft looks like, where it's a lot of goalies and goal scorers. Defensemen seem like they're kind of a rarity right now. So keeping Marchand's mom, I think, is definitely going to be the right play. After that, Hammer, another good kind of two-way player. Good on defense, good body, and some good passing, and even some forward positioning, getting some goal opportunities. But I think it's
Hammer's a North Star.
Oh yeah, he got traded.
He got traded.
Yeah, no, so they're not keeping Hammer. So Darkar. At that point, it's Darkar.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, if you don't mention Darkar here.
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's
gonna
my
be
bad. My thing is
confused.
out of date. I'm just looking at my
you're
my old list here. It's clearly Darkar then. Darkar. The main thing, I'm a little bit down right now on Darkar because a bit rough when it comes to passes, both receiving passes and making passes. When I was watching the games and streaming the games, there was a lot of passes from Darkar that were just, he had so much time and passes only when it's there to get intercepted, or passes just not hitting their target. When he gets a pass, just missing the puck. Darkar is a good player, but right now, at least from the recent play, the passing when it comes to Darkar has been a bit rough. If he can work on that in the off season, or just kind of get some better chemistry or something, whatever is missing, then Darkar is very clear. But I was a little iffy on Darkar just from what I was seeing.
Yeah, I agree. My 2 cents for playing on the Dinos is, I hope Mitchkov stays. I really do. Not only is he a great offensive player, like you were talking about, but his defense is not to be slandered either.
No,
I don't know
Mitchkov
if
has
y'all
great
really-
two-way.
Oh, he's gotten me out of some tough spots.
Yeah,
Whether it
that's
be
what I'm
pubs
saying.
Or
Him and Marchand's mom, them. That's why I'm thinking Marchand's mom is a definite keep here, because he is that shutdown defenseman. So with Mitchkov, especially if you guys can draft a goal scorer like Davo or someone to work well with Mitchkov, you have your puck moving shutdown defenseman, you have your playmaker, you'd have your goal scorer, you have your goalie, you have a set team at that point. You're missing really just one piece here. So I don't know. It's pretty clear here what you'd save. It's you save your goalie, you save your defense, and you save an offense piece. Be it Mitchkov or Darkar, who both are pretty much playmakers. So you just save with the best playmaker you can, and you try to draft a goal scorer.
Yeah, true that.
I don't have anything to add there.
And the final team here, the San Diego Mariners. It's pretty easy top two here, PK Nem. After that, it's CST or Giz, obviously here. Honestly, I think it's Giz, because Gizmatron has great two-way, hits the body, Nem hits the body too, so with Nem and Gizmatron both being kind of pests to the other team, it helps a lot on defense and just kind of helps get in their head, as well as Gizmatron having great both offensive presence and defensive presence, pairing well with PK and Nem for rotations. We don't really necessarily have set forwards in defense. We just kind of rotate. So keeping the great rotators, PK, Nem, Gizmatron. CST is a great rotator too, just a lot more offensive focused, and already having PK and Nem and how offensive focused and goalie focused the draft is, I think Gizmatron's the save here.
You're making me blush.
So that would be mine. PK, Nem, Gizmatron would be my saves. It was up to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, and plus you're in the locker room. I'm sure you have more inside knowledge over there. But so have y'all gone over like what teams are gonna look for in the draft? Like, I just got here.
We have not. If you want to give your
haven't.
quick 2 cents on who the other teams are going to save, the Quebec, Houston, Chicago, Minnesota.
Okay, let me open up everyone's roster here real quick.
Yeah, so I had said Acto, V, and Puck Luck Chuck or Collie, depending on if they decide to draft a goalie and replace Collie, because the draft is so deep for goalies and not deep for defensemen, like Puck Luck Chuck.
I don't know. I can't really see them getting rid of Collie right now. I mean, maybe, but
the main thing is, do they want to try to play the draft, or do they just want to protect their team and pick up whatever they can from the draft at that point? It's pretty much, do they want to try to risk drafting a goalie with the goalie prospects that are available, or do they want to risk losing some of their defensive power and hoping to fill it in the draft?
I think another angle of that though is I don't see them going for a goalie. I just don't, because they've got Bob. Bob's their other goalie, so they've got two really solid. They've got a solid tandem, honestly. Like,
you're not wrong.
I kind of see them going more for another player rather than a goalie.
That is fair.
Because I mean, if Collie doesn't play, then Bob plays.
Pretty much, yeah. But the main thing is, do they think they can get? Because it also depends on where they leave in the playoffs. If they get an early exit in the playoffs and they have a somewhat decent draft pick, do they think they can get a goalie? What can they get in the draft that they can use to replace their team? And I don't see a lot of defense in the draft. Like, I see from playing pugs, from seeing people join, it's a lot of forwards, a lot of goal scoring and playmaking forwards, and a lot of goalies. I don't see a lot of defense. So players like Puck Luck Chuck are going to be harder to find. Players, I mean, like Hammer, players like Marchand's mom are going to be a little bit more valuable as they're getting more diluted and more rare right now, at least from my view of it. So that's where I was thinking Puck Luck Chuck could be a worthy save, just because it's going to be harder to replace than a goalie. Not that goalie is necessarily going to be easy to replace, as obviously a really good goalie and plays really well with the team, really good chemistry with the team. But if you can't replace your defense, you gotta figure out something, and I think goalie is going to be an easier position to fill.
That is true, yeah. Although they do have Acto as a pretty solid defenseman.
Acto calling me out for saying PLC is a defenseman.
Yeah.
I disagree. PLC's did some pretty damn good defensive plays.
To be honestly though, like in the draft, like what does that team even really need if they can keep their three like most solid players? Like, they have a really solid team already.
That's the thing. They're not going to need much, especially with they're also going to be up against the cap though if they keep Collie. So
that's true.
That's another thing to keep in track is Puck Luck Truck is a lot lower rated than Collie.
Do we know what the star cap is? I haven't looked.
I don't think it's confirmed, but I think it's rumored to be low 20s.
Low 20s. Okay, yeah, I could see them protecting Puck Luck Chuck over Collie in that stance, though.
It is possible. I'm also mixing up Puck Luck Chuck and Charles. No, I don't think so, because Charles only played a couple games. It's possible I am mixing up names, to be fair. Acto is calling me out still. So it's possible I have mixed up names here, as I am terrible at remembering names. So whoever is on the Quebec team that was playing their main defensive defense, they need to be saved. Whoever it is, I think. Mind you, Acto is saying that Puck Luck Chuck spends as much time in the defensive zone as he spends in the offensive zone. So it sounds like Puck Luck Chuck only spends time in the defensive zone. Because I don't. Acto is pretty much a third forward here. I'm pissing off Acto now. It's great.
Acto's freaking out right now. He's freaking out.
He hates when I call him a third defenseman, but I still do it.
It's tweaking.
Anyways, I guess we should move on to Houston.
Okay.
I mean, there's not much to lose because they've lost half their team. I mean, I called it as they keep Shavante, Brodeur, and Jelly. If Brodeur doesn't want to stay, you keep Josh.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend much time on that. That one's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Chicago, it's Grizz, Echo, and Lurker. Grizz is pretty much their owner at this point. Echo is Echo, and Lurker is Lurker. He plays whatever he needs to play, and he does it well.
Yeah, my pride still hurts a little bit from the games I've played against Echo.
Yeah, that's
Echo's
fair.
cracked. I mean, looking at like the team player impact rating chart we made back in May, just looking at the chart, like Echo's half the team in terms of like impact. So it's like,
yeah, the player impact rating is at least back. I haven't updated it in like a week and a half, but it was at 40% for Echo. So like Echo is a clear keep here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But to be fair, Huzzington, like if you look at the chart, I mean he's pretty solid chunk of that too. So, it makes you wonder, like, is there maybe a little bit of like, oh, you could lean towards one player than the other? Like, it depends on what they choose.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's just going to come down to that decision, or in the moment decision. That's what I was trying to say. Like, because you could go either way. I'm not sure I would get rid of Huzzington, just from everything I've seen. He seems like a solid dude. Granted, I'm not saying anyone in Cody X isn't a solid dude. I just haven't talked to them enough.
Oh, next Pocheck article, hating on Chicago. Who in Chicago is the worst?
Well, I know where that's going already.
Pochek's top 10 least favorite players.
That's what
it makes me wonder when it comes to like with the teams now and who they draft. It's like, keeping players who are reliable and show up a bunch, because if you have a really solid team and everyone shows up, it's like what do you narrow it down to on like who you keep?
Yeah,
like
I feel like that's something that the Kodiaks might run into. I don't know.
At least on the Denver perspective on that specific issue, like we kind of just play who shows up. Like normally we get the 5, right? Like we don't struggle to find the 5, but our players that you don't see on the ice are just busy. Like they're not there. So, our lower game players, Cody and Zach, like they don't play because they're not there. It's not a we're keeping them out sort of thing. But yeah, I mean that's all I really have to say on the Kodiaks. Like Echo Worker, Huzzington or Grizz.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Huzzington or Grizz, that's going to be a in the moment decision. Personally,
I don't think they get rid of Grizz because he's functionally acting as a new owner, and he's back from his vacation. Because I think he was on vacation was the reason why he wasn't playing games. So I think now that he's back, and I think he's going to be playing more regularly, I think it's going to be between Lurker and Huzzington. But I don't see Huzzington winning that just because Lurker can play goalie if they need a goalie, because they're not going to be saving any of their goalies. He can play defense. He can be offense if they need it. Not that they're going to need it with Grizz, Echo, and Hour. I don't see them choosing Huzzington over Lurker simply because Lurker is just a little bit more of a dynamic player, just ever so slightly. Huzzington does play goalie, and he played goalie decently, but he's not as good of a goalie as Lurker, and I don't think he doesn't show up to enough more games necessarily than Lurker is. So
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Now, was Grizz acting as like the owner, like, or Our
is the owner, but Grizz has been acting as owner because he's just better at scheduling. He's older. He doesn't get grounded.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna be like, is it because he got grounded?
Pretty much.
Grizz is the general manager for the team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I don't see Grizz leaving. And the final team, the Minnesota North Stars. Andomal's the clear save. After that, it's Alcan. After that, we were a bit back and forth between if it's Abelprane or Curtis. Curtis being a good defensive player, Abel being more of a offensive option.
How do we feel about Dazzle?
Dazzle's gone.
Is he still on?
Dazzle retired after
this
one
one's
series. Dazzle retired after
for
one
real?
series. So did Lazy Dude.
Yeah,
AO's also
we need to
gone.
make a new one.
Yeah, AO's
Hey,
gone.
they lost 3 of their star players.
Yeah,
This
well, I
really
don't know if you
changes
can
the
consider-
graph. It's crazy.
yeah.
I don't know
AO
if you can
is
count Dazzle.
AO's was a big part. He played all of 3 to 4 series, but my God, the impact on those series. He is their second biggest impact player after only joining halfway through the season. Like, it's him and Andomal. It was the him and Andomal show. Andomal being a great playmaker, AO being a great shot. It was a great combination. AO leaving really set their team back. They could have made a run for the playoffs, and I wouldn't have been surprised with the pickups of Alcan and AO. Alcan being a great goalie, AO being the great offensive player they needed. Losing that sent them back and kind of out of my mind for playoff teams.
Yeah, they were dangerous with AO too. I remember when we played a couple games against him, I was like, oh my goodness. Especially with Andomal and AO, I was like, all right, this is gonna be a tough one. But it's crazy.
They had some chemistry going. I remember when we played them. Yeah. But I can't disagree with your picks. Personally, I would swing Aeroplane over Curtis, but that's just because I played more with Aeroplane.
That is fair. I think my bias is from I think we just don't play. We don't mesh very well on defense, me and AO. So from playing with him, I don't think we play well together. So in my mind, I just kind of have him positioned lower than maybe most other people would. So I will admit a bit of bias there due to just the chemistry not being there between me and Aeroplane.
Fair. But yeah, Animal's obviously got to get kept. Like,
yeah, he is the star player of the team.
oh yeah. And Akan, I mean, he's kept some life in that team.
I love Akan. He asked me about my 401k.
Alcan's great.
I always piggyback and ask about the 401k.
Good. Yeah,
Kinda
I'll
afraid
let
to
you
check
guys know
mine
what
right now.
happens.
I'm afraid to check mine.
Why?
I don't know. It was up last time. Like, it's been fairly up, all things considered, the past couple of years. So, at this point, I'm just like afraid if it's gonna go down.
No, you're good. You're good now. Look, this is a financial stream now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're
So
talking about
what's your favorite
finances.
stock? I like index personally. I'm kind of a S&P 500 kind of guy, but
Yeah, Vanguard S&P 500. It's a low risk, long-term growth. Really suggest putting your money in those. Honestly, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
But you know, you can always get a financial advisor, and you can start a Roth IRA. Minimum $5,000 to get it going. That's your retirement. You know, you can do a traditional IRA. You know.
that's American though. We don't talk American here. See, I'm talking TFSAs, RRSPs. TFSA, if you if you don't mind paying the taxes now, RRSP if you don't mind paying it later.
Boom. Look at that. We're making sure everyone around here is taking care of themselves when they're old, you know?
Yeah.
All the 10-year-olds.
You know, the important thing about being a player is being able to retire, because it is a short career in this line of work. So you need to make sure you set that money aside for retirement, because it will come a lot faster than you think.
Next,
Got Canty here saying he's gonna work till he dies. So that's good.
Hell yeah.
Well, if
See,
you play it
if
up
you work
against
till you
them,
die,
when you play against the Mariners with Nem and Gizmatron hitting you, you might die a little bit faster. That CTE is gonna hit you hard.
that's true. That's true. But if you work till you die, you'll probably say you work until when you're past 59 and a half, you won't get as much of a heavy tax when you take stuff out of your 401k or your traditional IRA. So you're good. You're good, Canty.
Yeah.
Good
If you
job.
wait till 65, you can actually get your full Canadian pension plan.
Look at that.
Yeah, but if you take it, you can take it at 60, but you won't get the entire thing, and that lasts for the entire time you're taking it. So you don't get it bumped up once you get to 65. So if you do take it early, you are making a risk that your investments and any previous work-based retirement plans is going to have you covered.
We got the whole NAPL covered right here. We're doing great.
Yeah, as part
This
of
is
the players union, it's my job to make sure you're informed.
That's your section. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's in your title. It's in the office.
Yeah. Is
Oh, boy.
anything else? Anyone else want to come in and give their opinions on the? Oh yeah, Pokechekov, did you want to mention what you think the bracket's going to look like as a unbiased third party, pretty much here?
Oh, what teams are going to play what teams first?
What teams are going to play what teams, and what the bracket's going to look like? Who's going to win? Bob looks like he might want to pop in here. If you do check the stream, I have the brackets up. Left side is Nordiques winning. Right side is Kodiaks winning their series. I can share my screen here.
We got
Yeah,
Sunshine that wants to pop in. So once we get Pokes, we can.
Yep.
we can get
Once
Sunshine in
Poke
here.
gives his opinions, we'll pop in Sunshine here.
Yeah, if you guys want to chat, just raise your hand. We'll get to you guys.
Oh, I gotta grab your stream. Hold on. I knew I was missing something.
Not in the stream. That's it. You're getting sent out. We can't talk to you anymore.
Make sure to like and subscribe to the
Yeah.
greatest liability.
Like,
I
comment,
want to see
and
that
subscribe.
subscriber count go up from 7 to at least 8 right
Right.
now.
I'm hoping to get double digits by the end of the season. We got
There's only 2
220.
likes on this right now. I need at least 4. I need to see 2 more thumbs up on this stream.
There's 220 people in this Discord. We can get 10 subscribers.
Boom.
Liability's production quality, his production value is peak. And if you guys haven't realized that yet, then you're blind.
I only get the best dollar store graphics. The peak dollar bin.
Okay, I'm gonna start.
Wow, and I'm already up to 10. That was crazy.
You got 11
It-
subscribers and 7 likes. Let's go.
It works.
Let's go.
Turns out begging
Round of
for
applause.
subscribers just works.
You guys won't regret it. Liability is although his name is Liability, he is consistent, persistent, and just wonderful.
Thank
I
you,
was
thank
like
you.
trying to think of a word so I could throw it in there for you, but I couldn't think of one.
I know.
Could not. I was
Like,
sitting
what's
here
another
like,
instant word?
All right, yeah. So, should the Nordiques win, it's the Nordiques versus Mariners in the first round, and the Invaders versus the Kodiaks. That first series, Nordiques versus Mariners. What's your bets?
Northeast Mariners. Have y'all discussed like what lineup you're gonna do?
I mean,
That
we
you're
pretty much have
able
a
to
set
share?
lineup at this point. PK Nem, PK lefty, Nem center, CST right wing and Gizmatron right D, pretty much, or somewhere around that. Pretty much is our
That
usual
sounds pretty
lineup.
solid.
It's some sort of shuffle of that. Pretty much is our standard.
Our goalie's Jackers right now.
Yeah, we lost Rug. Rug had family matters and or some, I don't remember exactly what it was, but personal reasons to leave the league, unfortunately. So we did lose our primary goalie.
I didn't know Rug left.
Yeah.
When did this happen? Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, that
boy,
was
I
it was
don't know.
like almost a month ago, I think now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mhm.
It's not in the transactions chat though.
Yeah, no, that's Jackers.
Jackers.
That's just Jackers doing. He just hasn't posted. We lost Miko too. Miko is not playing for us anymore. LTIR essentially, but that hasn't been posted either. So we are essentially down to 6 players. We did just pick up Silky from free agency, but not a single word has been spoken yet. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I think you'll have a fairly good chance. Like, the Nordiques are crazy. Don't get me wrong.
We shut them out the last 2 games. We've just played them and we shut them out 1-0 both games.
And also, the more I play with PK and Nem, the more I'm like, okay, these guys are more insane than I gave them credit for at the beginning of the season.
I mean, yeah, we didn't play like for the first half of the season. We played either without PK or without Nem. I think even a couple times without both. So it's not entirely fair to look at our win-loss ratio and to just judge our team based on that, because we the amount of games we played at full strength is probably 2, maybe 3 series.
Yeah. I completely understand that perspective, because I feel like Denver played fairly all right for all things considered. I mean, I know that's probably not going to be the popular opinion, but just saying, I feel like we played pretty all right. But honestly, I can see the Mariners. I think it's going to be a close one. Don't get me wrong. I think it could be fairly close. But I can see the Mariners winning.
All right, so you're thinking like a 2-1 situation, 2 games to the Mariners, 1 game to the Nordiques, maybe in overtime?
Yeah, that's how I'm leaning.
All right, so Mariners in the finals, Houston Invaders versus Chicago Kodiaks. No, I don't know if too much needs to be said here, even with Brodeur, but what do you think?
The current Invaders lineup leads me to give it to the Kodiaks.
Yeah. What are you thinking? 2-0, 2-1, overtimes. I mean, we're assuming full strength here. We're assuming Brodeur. Assume full strength here.
But even still, there's not a whole lot in the offensive sphere for the Invaders right now.
I mean, Jelly and
yeah,
RTYR were playing pretty decently in that last series.
That's true, but Jelly tends to play a defenseman. Like, at least when he was with the Dinos, he really preferred playing defense. Like, he went up to just keep it in the zone and to get shots on net for us. I mean, R2R doesn't have a terrible shot. Like, I'm not trying to hate on his offensive play, but he's not Smasher.
No. RTYR is he's an all right forward, an all right goal scorer, but he's not carrying the team by any means. Jelly, he's a good playmaker, a good puck mover, but again, not carrying the team on his back. Brodeur, he can stop the goals, and with the defense from Jelly and from who was it? Was it, I want to say Josh, who was playing pretty decently that last series. I could see them not letting a lot of goals in, but the Kodiaks are such an aggressive, and every single person on that team can score. If you give them one possibility, and they will get their one possibility, they will score it. And I think, even with Brodeur, personally, I gave it 2-0 for the Kodiaks. Invaders won't take a game. They might get lucky and get to overtime in one game, But
Yeah, I agree with you.
I gotta say, like, mentioning the Invaders, if they did still have Smasher, it'd be pretty solid for them. But for everyone who's listening in who doesn't really know too much about all that, Poke made a really good article that really explains the controversy behind all that.
yeah,
The
go
whole
visit
Smasher Invaders thing.
Poke Chekhov's articles. The link is actually in the description. It's been in the description of every single stream I've done.
Checked Insight.
Thank you. I actually haven't looked at the description. No way, just like watch the
I'm
video
insulted. I have the Discord in there, and I have your articles in there.
later. My heart is gonna explode.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're
That's
saying
just-
Mariners Kodiak's finals. Who do you think wins that? That's gonna be a tough series. That's where we ended up with Andomal, where we ended up expecting it to go is a Nordiques Kodiaks. Whoever wins that series wins it, pretty much. Because I mean, even on in the situation where the Kodiaks beats the Nordiques in this the second last game of the regular season, and it ends up being Kodiaks versus Mariners. We had it where whoever team wins that wins against the Nordiques in the finals anyways. So it ended up being the Kodiaks Mariners series. Whatever way it ends up taking place is the deciding factor. So it'll be interesting to see your take on it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be close. Like whoever gets to the end, I don't think it's gonna be a slouch either way.
No, it's going to be a brutal series.
Mariners Kodiak, you've got some hitters on both sides. I meant that more in the
No, we got Nem and Gizmatron. You're not wrong.
yeah. But who are the hitters for the Kodiak? Oh,
Huzzington. I think
You're gonna get
Lurker
hit,
does
then
some
you're
hitting
just gonna
too.
hear weight room. You're just gonna hear weight room every time you get hit. But you're putting me on the spot here.
That's the point of it.
Between Mariners and Kodiaks, that's a
It's a tough question. It is a tough question. I do not blame you for not having an immediate answer here. I can give you some time to think about and explain kind of my thinking here. So my thinking was that the Mariners are going to win it. It's not going to be a sweep by any means. I had it as it goes to 3 games. Actually, I believe the finals will go to 5 essentially. So, but the same difference, where it goes to the last game, and it's pretty much there's going to be 1 to 2 overtime games that pretty much are going to make the difference. It's going to go back and forth, Mariners, Kodiaks, and overtime games are going to decide it. And I think it's going to lean Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, the more I sit here and think about it, the more I'm like, okay, PK on defense, shutting down some of those players that tend to get away with it to really pressure that offense. I think PK is going to negate a lot of that.
You know, thinking about like Mariners playing the Kodiaks, it's gonna have to be like our defense is gonna have to be proper, because just looking at like Echo's goals, I mean I feel like that's more than the entire team combined. So
a lot of them have been
fair,
pretty
I mean,
as well.
Yeah, to be fair about that has been on. I mean, a lot of those were on the Dinos, and nothing against the Dinos. They left their goalie to dry. They just got owned. Their playbook was owned and purchased by the Kodiaks. It was a perfect counter by the Kodiaks. The Kodiaks just understand how to take their team apart. Taking out the games against the Denver Dinos, it's a lot more reasonable of a score. And even with the Dinos, he is only barely first in that's out of date. He is a good bit higher, but taking out the games from the Dinos, he ends up pretty much, kind of in pace with the rest of the primary goal scorers of Smasher and V. So I think taking out the kind of extreme cases there, I think he's pretty close to being Kind of that. He's obviously still very dangerous, but I think the danger mostly from the Kodiaks doesn't come from one specific player, but the fact that every single player on their team is a danger shot. Even like Canty has a danger shot from the blue line. You have Huzzington who can shoot. You have Grizz who can shoot. You have Lurker who can shoot. You have everyone on the team. If you give them the space and you give them the opportunity, they will score a goal. So that's the main danger for the Kodiaks is you cannot focus a player. They are all dangerous. If you take one out and you get yourself out of position, the others are just going to play off that and take advantage of it. Whereas someone like the Nordiques, you take out V and you have to worry about Acto. Like, that's about it for goal scoring potential. And Acto is nowhere close to the shot that V is. So if you can just focus V, you know, hitting him or doing whatever you need to do to just be a nuisance, they become a lot easier team to deal with. You can't do the same thing against the Kodiaks.
Oh yeah.
No, you have a good point too. And like looking at the doc here, just seeing that like the shots on goal from just the Kodiaks alone, and like just like eyeballing it, comparing everyone else's on everyone else on all the other teams' shots on goal, like they have the most well-rounded players for sure.
Oh yeah,
and
by
so it's
far.
like you have a very good point. Like, you know, it's not just one; it's the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the star cap, and they're expected to be in the mid-30s. Only 1.5 times the expected star cap for next season. That's rough. I mean, that shows their depth, but it's also a rough situation to be in for next season.
I'm glad you're bringing it up because I believe I touched on it 3 articles ago. Whenever I went hardcore into my response about the first article, so I guess
That'll be Article 2 then, yeah.
yeah, that I'm kind of afraid to see how that team gets split up.
All right, I'm going to ask for your final verdict here, Pocheko, so we can get Sunshine in, because Sunshine has been waiting.
I think Mariners. I
All
think it's
right.
gonna be close, but I think Mariners.
So you're calling it Mariners win the first series against the Nordiques or the Kodiaks, and either the Nordiques or Kodiaks winning that second series, and then Mariners taking it in the final. Do you have any kind of prediction for what that series might look like games-wise? You know, is it going to go to the final game, Game 5? Is it going to go to overtimes? What are you thinking?
I think the first game is either going to be a blowout or going to be an overtime, maybe multiple overtime game. I think the whole series is going to come down to Mariners defense. We already touched on it, but I really think it's going to come down to defense. Not even necessarily your goaltender, I think, but defense.
That is fair.
Because I mean, and this is one way of putting it is I think if you can knock out a player or two.
Oh, we
then
can
get the
knock
puck,
out
I think
players.
you're going to be in a great position. But if they kind of body you around, I think either way it's going to be really defensive heavy. But I think if Mariners can get the puck, get the shots, get some momentum going, I think it's going to be Mariners. I think if the Kodiaks have the momentum, it's going to go Kodiaks. But
I think that's fair.
with y'all's defensive talent on the board, like the players you named, Nim, PK, Giz, you,
CST.
like CST, like all of those players have fairly decent defensive talent. Whereas I'm not saying Kodiaks don't have any defensive talent, but they tend to flex that less than they flex their offensive
There's
talent.
certainly much more of a great offense means you don't need a defense kind of style.
Yeah.
Not that they say they don't have defense, but that is not their focus from their team. They
Exactly.
are 3 to 4 forwards on a team,
Yeah,
and
then a
that's-
goalie that's there for if shit hits
he's there to be a body. But that's probably one of the reasons why they are so dangerous and why everyone has such a good shot is because they are more close to being just 4 forwards in a trench coat than any other team, really.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna see if we can pull
Yeah,
in
let's-
Sunshine here. If you want to stay in, you're certainly free to add your commentary. As I mean, we could have had you on the panel here, so.
All right, I'm pulling Sunshine. Oh yeah, look at that.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. I'm
Hello.
gonna turn up your mic here one moment.
All right. How have
All
you
right.
guys been?
Very good. Yourself? Thank you for joining.
I've been great. So as you guys were saying about the defense and offense positioning, I think that for the Nordiques, or I mean Kodiaks, sorry, they're going to probably have a lot more offensive capabilities, but as for, I mean, most of the teams here, we'll be honest, the Nordiques, they have pretty good offense. The Kodiaks, we've lost to them, and a lot of other ones, we've had pretty bad. I mean, I play for the North Stars. We've lost to a bunch of teams, but we've also won, right? There's a lot of teams that have ups and downs, like us, but the rest of the teams, they're mostly, and when I say this, I mean this, they mostly have a lot more decent capabilities than us, but I feel like we also have a lot more fun than some teams. Some teams are just fully, it seems, fully serious and kind of just don't have that much fun.
That is fair. I mean, the Kodiaks are a mostly made of PHL players, which the PHL is a lot more of a kind of a sweat kind of league, whereas the NAPL is a little bit more relaxed. Not to say we don't try, not to say we aren't great, but we're a little bit more relaxed kind of environment here. So, I mean, it is interesting seeing the different kind of players, the players used to playing in the PHL, being a lot more focused on the gameplay and a lot more just clear calming versus the NAPL players and that, which are used to playing pugs a lot and end up a lot more just kind of having fun in the chat and less serious calming. But we will probably see a lot more serious calming in the playoffs, I'd imagine.
I agree, for sure. I can't really see a step up in I'm struggling to find the word here. A step towards more seriousness, I guess,
Mhm.
is the best
Like
way to put it.
competition?
Competition, yeah. I can't see anyone keeping the same mentality that they've had throughout the season going towards the playoffs. But like you said, Sunshine, having interviewed both the owner of the North Stars and my own leader, which I'll be honest, Dinos, I love our locker room. It's a great time. We're always cracking jokes, having a good time, even mid-game. From what I talked to with Chizo, seems very similar over there. Like,
Yeah,
not
it
that
is.
either team is or not serious, but like, it was a very good time getting to interview both, getting to talk about how everything is in the back ends.
Yeah.
It will be a minute before I interview the other owners for obvious reasons.
Yeah, everyone make sure to check out Poke's latest article talking to the two owners of the teams that were eliminated, the Denver Dinos and the Minnesota North Stars. Owners Chizo for the North Stars and Pepperoni Tony for the Dinos. Two great owners, it seems. Even if their play has been questioned, both players on the ice have been questioned as actual viable players, but both have also improved a lot since the start of the season, and as owners have proven to have a great locker room and just a great team, even if they have had some struggles with, especially primarily the North Stars, with a lot of people retiring, unfortunately a little too early. But yeah, great article by Poke Chekhov. You guys should make sure you check it out.
Yeah, the day that we lost Lazy, I was super confused. I was talking to him a lot, and he he was a really nice person. We had a lot of good conversations, and he was always almost positive in almost every category ever. He was very, I don't know how to say it. He was never negative about anything. He was so optimistic. And even when we lost, he would always try to find a way around it. When he left, I never really got to understand why. Well, I think I understood that he had a lot going on, but as I was talking to him, with me and him the day before he had left, I didn't hear anything different about him. He was just as normal as he's ever been, and it felt like he kind of just disappeared from the team. It kind of hurt me too, because I felt like he was kind of a friend, because we had talked a lot more than we had with the team together.
So it was a bit more of like a surprise, kind of a thing that's kind of brought on you just kind of out of the blue, that probably didn't help, early in the series, or early in the season, with locker room and kind of morale, losing such a well-hyped and well-liked player, both in the community and in the team itself. So it makes a lot of sense, kind of some of the lower morale, and then losing Dazzle pretty much right around the same time, who was, a crazy goalie for that one game he played. He was a great player, a great skater on the ice too. So that must have been a really rough time, morale-wise and locker room-wise, just kind of wrapping your heads around the new environment that you found yourself in without Dazzle and without the name's slipping my mind. Sorry, without Lazy Dude.
Yeah, that
was really unfortunate. It really did suck. Wayne is trying to join up.
Yep. So we'll ask one more question. What do you think the bracket is going to look like? First off, do you think the Nordiques versus the Kodiaks game is going to go Nordiques or Kodiaks? Do you think the Nordiques need to win at least one game and need to get at least overtime in that second in order to get the top of the bracket? Do you think they're going to be able to do that?
Well, personally, I've been kind of on the Nordiques side almost all season, because I'm a really big fan of V in the way he plays, but personally, I don't know about the game, man. The Kodiaks are probably gonna get a little better of a head start with their defense, and the way that they play is a lot more balanced than the Nordiques. They have a lot more, the Invaders. The Invaders have a lot more. God, I am mixing up teams so bad right now.
Yeah. So the
Invaders
Nordiques
have a lot more. Yeah. The Nordiques have V, and the Invaders have a lot more balanced offense, because the Nordiques have V, and they have a couple of other players that are really good at offense. But
you think the edge goes to the Nordiques then? So are you thinking like a in that first series they're gonna play? You think it's gonna go both games Nordiques then? You think it's gonna go Nordiques first game or second game, and then the other game in overtime? What are you thinking?
I feel like it's gonna be mainly a very Nordique-sided conversation for that, because with their offense, it's kind of hard to shut them down when they have very good circling with their offense. When V loses the puck, another player is going to be there, and another player is going to be there, and then V goes back, and it's a cycle. It's perfect for them. So I feel like when they lose the puck, they're going to get it right back, and they're going to get it in the net. I feel like they're going to be on the perfect side of that conversation in that bracket part. So
Nordiques take the that series against the Kodiaks just before the playoffs. That would put the Nordiques in the first seed against the Mariners. How do you think that series is going to go? The Nordiques versus the Mariners, pretty much a repeat of what a rematch of the series they just lost, double shutout. Are they going to be looking for a revenge, you think, or what do you think it's going to look like?
I think it's gonna look a little bit more. Well, it might go out how the Oilers did, but I feel like with the Mariners, they're probably gonna learn how to come back against that strategy and hopefully get the puck away from the better players on the Nordiques. Although they do have pretty decent players all around, the Mariners are probably going to come out, or hopefully come out with the winning at hand on that.
All right, so I like to hear that. That's what I like to hear. As a Mariner myself, I almost said Nordique. Oh, that was rough. I almost had to retire.
Well, we're switching teams now.
As a Mariner, that's what I like to hear. I agreed 100%. Mariners got this another 2 shutouts. So Invaders Kodiaks. I mean, like I was talking with Poke, I don't think too much needs to be said here. Even with Brodeur, Invaders team without Smashers is looking a bit rough. What do you think?
I think when we played them, it felt pretty close to me. I feel like, honestly, Invaders probably gonna lose. And I don't think that comes to a surprise to much of you guys, and it's probably not gonna be a surprise if they do lose. Because the Kodiaks do have a lot more balance playing, and I mean, honestly, the Invaders, they're not very balanced. They're not that balanced as the Kodiaks, or the Nordiques, or the Mariners, in my opinion.
Yeah, so you're thinking, like everyone seems to agree here, Mariners Kodiaks finals. Everyone seems to agree it comes down to Kodiaks versus the Mariners. So we've had a bit of mix between who thinks the Kodiaks are going to win and who thinks the Mariners are going to win. Both Poke, me, and Gizmatron all thought Mariners, but Huzzington and Andomal thought the Kodiaks. What are you thinking here? You think the Kodiaks have the edge, or you think it's going to be the Mariners?
You said Andomal said?
Andomal did say Kodiaks. If that is going to,
okay,
affect your judgment here.
So King Andomal, sorry, Andomal. He
No, you had it right the first time.
Yeah. King Andomal is correct. It's probably gonna be Kodiaks.
All right, so that's 3-3. 3 thinking it's going to be the Kodiaks. 3 thinking it's the Mariners. Now, obviously, there is a bit of bias here with 2 Mariners players voting for the Mariners to win here. But it is still an interesting statistic here that everyone does think it's going to come down to San Diego Mariners versus Chicago Kodiaks, but no one can decide how it's going to go, which just makes that series even more special and even more valuable to watch because no one knows how it is going to turn out.
Yeah, no, that one's definitely going to be a pretty close game.
Before I let you go here, does any of the other people have any questions? Gizmatron or Pokechekov, either of you have any questions for Sunshine?
No, man.
Sunshine, is there anything you wanted to say before we let Awoprain come in and give their opinions?
Hey, look at this cool guy.
Here, I'll switch to the view so people can see you. Oh, you left.
Oh no!
There we go.
Look at that.
The stream can see you
see
now.
Them shades. Look at the shirt Mans has got on.
That's a cool shirt. I'll give you that. I like the vibe.
I think your mic's muted.
It is indeed muted.
But thank you for giving your opinion. Thank you for popping on and watching the stream. And we're gonna move over to Awoprain.
Before we have Aeroplane on, I'm gonna have to dip out, but I just want to say this was a lot of fun. This is super exciting, insightful, and I think it really generates a lot of hype for what's to come in the NAPL.
Yeah. Thanks for joining. Honestly, it's been great having your opinions and a great presence on the stream. I appreciate you popping in.
Hell yeah! All right.
Speaking of hype, I have an idea I need to run past you at some point, Giz. But
oh, okay, hell yeah.
Ooh, some behind-the-scenes drama here, as there's some secret colluding going on here.
Yeah, but I also had to drop the suspense so everyone heard it. How
Exactly.
suspense
Hell yeah.
works.
I think we
Hell
got 10
yeah,
people
dude.
watching right now, so we're almost tied with my most concurrently watched stream, as that was the last stream I did just yesterday at 11 active watchers.
I'm like opening on my phone too.
This is monumental. All right, guys, have fun.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
good
you.
one.
Have a good rest of your day. Hello, welcome, Eofrain. So,
Howdy.
what is your thoughts here? What are your thoughts on the current situation of the playoffs and how things might shake up here?
Where to start? Let's start with Nordiques then. They're facing off the. Who are they facing off again? I forgot already.
So it is actually based on the next game between the Nordiques and the Kodiaks. Nordiques need to win one game and get the other game in at least overtime, if not a win itself. Where the Kodiaks just need to win one game in order to get that top seed, and that will decide the final layout. Mariners and Invaders positions are already locked in, as just as how the points are laid out. So the first question, I guess, should be Nordiques versus Kodiaks, last regular season game. Who wins? Who wins the series?
Oh, I'd have to go with Kodiaks, honestly.
You think it's going to be Kodiaks? I mean, that if they win even one game, I guess they need to win a game and an overtime. But yeah, so if you think Kodiaks are going to win, that would put you on the right side. Right being directional, not correct necessarily. But I do actually personally agree here. The right side on the stream here of the Kodiaks versus the Mariners. Mariners being the 4th seed, Kodiaks being the 1st. It's usually how it is. So Kodiaks versus Mariners. This is the big question mark from everyone here. Do you think this is as impactful a game as everyone else is making it seem? Do you think this is the deciding game? And if so, and also, who do you think is going to win it?
I think Kodiaks are going to win this one too, actually.
Ooh, a straight answer. Confident in it. What do you think the score is going to be like? You think it's going to be a sweep then with how confident you are? You think it's going to be close? This is a best of 3 here, so.
I don't think it's going to be a sweep. It's possible, but in my opinion, I think it's going to be more balanced out and closer.
So you're thinking 2 games for the Kodiaks, 1 game for the Mariners? You thinking any overtime?
Something like that, yeah.
Sounds pretty reasonable, honestly. I mean, I side with the Mariners, but I do agree that it could honestly go either way with just how good both teams are. So you're thinking Kodiaks in the finals. Invaders versus Nordiques, what are you thinking here?
I feel like the Invaders might have a chance, but like Nordiques also are probably gonna just completely dominate them, but they definitely still have a chance. There's always a
It's always the Brodeur
opportunity
show.
for them.
It's Brodeur versus V. Who can show up more here?
Exactly.
Brodeur being a absolutely god goalie, by far the
Yes.
best goalie in the league, and straight up changes the outcome of games with the sheer ability he has.
Yeah.
And also the great pass ups. One underrated part of being a goalie is getting those breakaway passes, getting the passes up, getting the puck into the corners, getting it to your teammates. And Bob, being such a good goaltender, is able to give them those great passes, which also allows them a lot more opportunities. So the Invaders being without both of them has kind of been a misleading kind of look for them, because with Brodeur, they're going to get a lot better passes and a lot better goalie play too. Not to say that Teresa isn't good, he's just not on that same level. So that will also impact their offensive ability. Also being able to rely on the goalie as much as they could with Brodeur will also impact their offensive ability. So we could see a lot more pickup from the Invaders if it does come down to Brodeur playing. So
Yeah, I don't think I've even played against Brodeur in any official league matches. He's never been there.
So what do you think? You thinking Nordique's slight edge here, or are you thinking Invaders might make a upset here?
I think they might make an upset, actually.
That is the first take of it, and I'm happy to see it. This is why we have the interviews here, so we can get the other opinions, because I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Brodeur is that player. He is that guy. He can straight up change the game. If they can block V out and they can get even one goal, that could be all they need with Brodeur in net. So if we're getting a Kodiak's Invaders finals, this is a best of 5 based on the poll that we had. First series best of 3, second series best of 5. What do you think that best of 5 is going to look like between the Kodiaks and the Invaders?
For here, I'm gonna have to go Kodiaks again.
Yeah, I think that's a universal agreement, even with Brodeur. What are you thinking for score though?
Oh, it's best out of 5?
Best of 5. So first to 3 wins.
Oh, I'm gonna say a 3-1 for the Kodiaks.
3-1. You think the Invaders will pick up a game? That I hope to see it. Honestly, I hope the Invaders, if they do make it to those finals, can take a game off the Kodiaks and just kind of take their ego just down a little bit. Because it's not fun to see a sweep in the finals. So just kind of having that one game to prove they could do it, and to offer the option of a almost a reverse sweep or some sort of underdog story. Will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, that would be very fascinating, and they're most likely going to be pretty tight games either way. It's not like we're going back to that 10-0 game that we had a few weeks back, but it's going to be really tight and really interesting to watch.
Yeah, this playoffs will definitely be very interesting. A lot of good teams, and a lot of teams that are going to change up a lot in that next season. Because, I mean, Kodiaks are going to be forced to change expansion draft or not, because they're going to be over the cap. I believe even the Nordiques are over the cap just a bit, so they'll have to change up. Plus, with the expansion draft, the best team, I mean, obviously bias here, in the Mariners, at least by balance-wise, when it comes to star cap to just straight-up ability, the expansion draft is really going to hurt. We are kind of running low on players as it is, and losing our depth is likely me, CST, and whoever else ends up on the team ends up probably getting taken away in the expansion draft. That is going to hurt, even if just for the depth players and the players who show up when the star players are unable to, as both PK and Nem are in 2 other leagues. So those players that are depth players and who are probably going to show up to more games, as they're not likely in many other different leagues, it's going to be very interesting to see if they can get that chemistry back and get the actual players to show up to games the same way with their current squad. Mind you, we do have a issue with Jackers scheduling games, but that's not necessarily always due to players not being available, even with 6 players. So it's going to be very, very cool to see this expansion draft and who gets picked, who gets saved, and the regular draft and who gets picked up. And even if some players might get left to the wayside, they are normally good players, because the star cap would be too close. Because one thing that could happen in the draft is good players go undrafted or fall heavily because the teams that have the draft picks don't have the space. So we could see a lot of good players fall later in the draft to teams that have a little bit more cap space, a little bit more freedom with their team. So I was wondering if you had any kind of insight or any ideas or thoughts as to who might be outside of expectations, who may not be saved, or who may be saved but traded, or anything you think could happen, any theories you have on the off season or the draft or expansion draft.
I don't know much about the expansion draft. I haven't really been paying attention to that. But in terms of just league overall in the next few seasons, I think it'd be really interesting to have like maybe 1 or 2 more teams.
Yeah, I believe we're looking at I think 4 to 6 is the current estimate for expansion teams, which is going to take
4 to 6
a
more.
lot of players off the teams. And even then, expansion draft teams are not going to have a chance to get players from every team, because there's some teams that just straight up don't have 4 to 6 extra players.
Right.
I'm very interested to see how the expansion draft shakes out personally.
Yeah. So So outside of expansion draft, is there any players that you've played with in pugs or played with in pubs or talked to, or anything that you're excited for in the upcoming draft that you kind of hope your team might pick?
I saw the name isn't coming to me, but there's this one guy who's really good, who's been in the free agent threads for a while. I don't know who it is, but
Yeah, there's
they're
a
really,
couple.
really
There's Matt, who's a goalie, but he hasn't really been playing pugs or anything. There's not a lot of free agents. There's McPickle, I believe, is still a free agent. Outside of those two, I don't think there's too many free agents. You're talking about, there's Yoon, who's not a free agent but talks a lot in chat. Davo, who plays a lot of pugs. Logan, who's new, who's in Discord, name is Bagel. There's a lot of options from pugs and stuff like that. But
I'm excited for Walls.
Walls
Yoon
too.
is a-
I
Yoon
almost
is a goalie, right?
forgot Walls. I'm sorry, Walls. Yeah, Walls is another very high potential draft pick there.
yeah. Yoon is a goalie, right?
Yoon is a goalie.
Yoon could be the next Brodeur, in my opinion.
That is some high praise. I don't think, from my experience, I would go quite that far. Brodeur is definitely a tier or two ahead in my mind than Yoon. But Yoon is no slouch. Yoon is kind of on that same tier as Colley. A great goalie. Not a Brodeur goalie, but a great goalie, and definitely a starter for a team.
So like among like Akan, Yoon, and Kali.
So for me personally, that is a tough one.
I also be included on this list? Now I'm curious.
So wait, so it's Alcan, Yoon, and Ollie, right? So I would
Yes.
probably put Alcan third in that. But it's tough to say because of the North Star defense sometimes being a little bit spotty. How much of that is defense and how much of that is Alcan's fault? Because Alcan had really good games when he started. But a little bit of recency bias for me would put Alcan at third there, Yoon second, and probably Colley first. It is a toss-up between Colley and Yoon. They're both I put them pretty similarly skilled. Both have some really good plays, and both have had some pretty rough games. Especially in pugs, they seem pretty similar. Like if I was drafting in pugs, I wouldn't really worry about picking a goalie if those were the two options, because whatever one you get out, it's going to be pretty similar. Putting Poke in there, Poke's number one always. Poke number one. No,
I was like, there's no way I'm
I'd probably put Poke just below Yoon and Colley, in that rank up. So it'd be Yoon and Colley and Yoon, either or, and then Poke Chekhov, and then Akan. What about either you? What do you two think about those four goalies? Obviously, Poke Chekhov a little bit of bias there, but as unbiased as you can be.
Okay, well, the only bias you have to worry about for me is negative bias, which is going to be I'm going to go backwards, actually. I put myself at the bottom there. Then I haven't seen Yoon play a whole lot, so that's going to influence me here. I'm going to say I'm going to say Akan there, then Colley, then Yoon. I know I
Putting
just
Yoon
said I haven't
first.
seen Yoon. Colin,
mean-
are you here? I feel like you are.
Holly has been in the chat quite a bit, so
Holly,
it's
I love
likely
you to
still
death.
here.
Holly, I love you to death, but sometimes you give me you give me anxiety with your positioning. It scares me occasionally. Like
That
just
is
for
fair.
anxiety's sake, I can't put you at number 1.
And what
Like
about
it
you?
goes through your crease behind you, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck?
And what about you, Aofrane? What do you think out of those 4 goalies?
Who's my first pick here?
Yeah, so top 4 out of Yoon, Kali, Poke, and Alkan.
I have definitely seen some very nice performance from all 4 of them. I feel like I'd still put Yoon in first, but I'm gonna put Akan in second, and then Kali, and then Poke.
Yeah.
I think Akan has a lot of potential for later on. Yoon is just as good as ever and always will be. And the other 2 have room for improvement as well.
Fair. 3 similar lists, just a couple change up for each. Yeah. Any more questions? Any questions for you from you, Poke?
I think I'm.
All right. Is there anyone else who wants to come in and discuss their view on the playoffs and draft or anything NAPL related here? Looks like Sunshine wants to pop back in. I'm not quite sure how to do that. Oh, here we are. Perfect. What was it you
Hey, guys.
wanted? Welcome back. Welcome back.
About the draft, that might be a very difficult situation for some teams that already have pretty good players.
I mean, yeah, but the expansion draft is going to take away some of those players. And some teams are missing draft picks. Don't forget that the Dinos have 2 extra draft picks. The second from the Invaders and the third from the North Stars.
Yeah, why don't we just take those? Can we just have those real quick? That would be very
Unfortunately
helpful.
not. I'm sure it will be, but not for your team, unfortunately. It'll be going to the Dinos, who already have a pretty solid backbone. It's just about flushing it out and finalizing and getting that full team chemistry and getting that final piece of a goal scorer. They're going to be dangerous, especially with all those picks.
Yeah, the expansion draft might be very difficult for, as I said, a lot of teams that already have good players, they might lose some of their staples. But I highly doubt it. But, a lot of players, there might need to be restrictions for the draft. And, well, as I said, there's going to be so many good players that are going to probably lose their team because of the expansion draft. And that might be difficult for the overall teams.
Yeah, we could see some big player losses from the expansion draft, depending on how teams want to handle that star cap, and that could be a big mix-up for the locker room and the morale of the team, as well as for that player. That player may not play the same on that new team as they played for the old team, because they may just not have that chemistry. They may not have that same that morale loss from that losing the team that you got so comfortable with. It may take them more than a season to come back. We could see a mental slump from some players after the expansion draft.
Yeah, safe to say, I think that could probably bring someone close to leaving the league, because of a lot of these players are attached to the team that they are already on. And, well, myself, I would hate to lose my team, but I'm not going to, or I hope not.
Well, I mean, if there's
I
6
hope I'm
expansion
resigned.
teams, then everyone who's not locked down will likely be picked up, as not all teams have even the full roster of 9, and that would be, even if the teams had a full roster of 9, every single leftover player would be picked. If there is 6 expansion teams, because that's 6 players per team. So it is likely that everyone who isn't locked down will be going to a new team. Even at 4, it's still very likely that almost every single non-lockdown player will be moving to a new team. So I would not be surprised if you were to move to a new team, even as a goalie.
Yeah, that would probably suck for me, because I love the North Stars. We have well, honestly, I think we have a pretty good community within each other.
Yeah, one thing is, I do want to note, hopefully no one does leave just because, well, not, I shouldn't say just because, but impacted by them getting sent to a new team, because it will take time to get that same chemistry with that team that you had with the old team. It is going to be mostly new players, but a lot of these players you probably played pugs with, you probably talked to in chat, so all the players that are moving should give that new team a chance. Because also a lot of team owners are probably going to be players that are already on teams, which is another thing that's going to make it even harder for the expansion draft, is players from currently existing teams could make a team.
Yeah, that might be difficult. So yeah, a lot of GMs are just like taking up a spot for their team, and I think that it's gonna be probably impossible for them to change teams, and that will hopefully that it'll help to keep some players in a team in chemistry, and hopefully to keep them from losing their spark in the game of puck.
Yeah, hopefully no one quits the game because of the losing their team, but you can't control everything. I think we're just about done here. I don't think there's anyone else wanting to pop in, and people are slowly leaving the stream and the chat here, so I think it's just about time to wrap it up. I think we said most of what can be said about this upcoming playoffs. Once again, anyone who isn't part of the NAPL server, the link for the server is in the Discord if you want to be a part of it. Draft signups are still going on in the announcements tab. If you are a player who signed up for the initial draft sign up, make sure you sign up for this second one, because Jackers had to repost it. So make sure you've signed up for the latest draft signups, and make sure everyone checks out Poke Chekhov's articles. Great articles about the behind the scenes and some drama, but also some insight into the league and the owners and players. So make sure you check Poke Chekhov's articles in the description. And thanks for everyone who has, even better, a new article coming out soon. Thanks to everyone who has been a part of this stream, all the speakers, everyone coming to watch. We had multiple amazing guests: Gizmatron, Huzzington, Andomal, Poke Chekhov. We had Sunshine pop in. We had
Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah, no problem. We had a bunch of people in chat talking, like Kali, Nem, Gizmatron, Acto, a couple other people I think came on as speakers that were we were asking questions and interviewing. I apologize for not remembering your name off the top of my head. I'm really bad with names. But I just want to thank everyone for being here for the stream and being a part of the stream as well. It's been an honor to be able to do a stream like this and have so many great voices and opinions to discuss the upcoming NAPL playoffs and draft. Anything last you want to say there, Poke Chekhov, before we sign off?
No, man, thanks for having me. It's a fun time. Sorry I joined in late, but
Oh, no problem. Glad you
glad I
joined
could
it
make
all.
it. Oh yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks again for showing up, and thanks to to everyone who subscribed, everyone who liked, and everyone who was just here to listen in the background, and everyone who talked in the chat. Have a good rest of your day,
I think
everyone.
we should start doing this more.
I agree. If I can, I'll try to set up some more streams like this. And hopefully I'll have a little bit better graphics next time, as this was a bit rushed.